But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The big, the wealthy, the real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big media news, all the big media companies. So they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back, so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long, when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Yeah. You know?
Dream that was promised to us was never built for us. It was built on top of us. We were raised to believe in an idea that sounded so beautiful. The land of the free, the home of the brave, a melting pot of all kinds of people. It truly sounds utopic. Who wouldn't want to believe in something like that? But as I've grown older and I've learned the true history of this nation, in pursuit of my personal journey of uncovering the truth, the real truth of this nation, the world we inherited was not designed for us. The world we inherited does not match the story we were given. We grew up chasing a dream that promised reward through hard work and hard work alone. And if we stayed in the course, if we followed all the rules, we could attain the perfect life, a home, stability, a world of opportunity, a life better than the generations that came before us. But in reality, it's been a nightmare. From the very beginning, the American dream functioned like a funnel. Those at the bottom supply the labor, while those at the top accumulate all of the wealth. This is history repeating itself, people. Early American society was not built for everyone. It was built in the image of white supremacy. Land was seized through genocide and disease transmission. And the economic foundation was carved out by colonial expansion and systems that valued profit over the well-being of the people. This is how we are living. We are living in the shadow of slavery. wealth extraction. We don't own anything anymore. Extracting our labor of using us to build wealth, that logic, that ideology never left the United States. Just because slavery ended, they still use the same tactics of underpaying employees and jacking up prices to just for profit margin so someone at the top can gain wealth. This is the story of the United States. No matter the job you're doing, whether you're working in the food industry, coding apps, delivering part-time, or maintaining infrastructure, your labor matters. And not only does it matter, it feeds an empire that values productivity over humanity. And that has been a trend throughout the course of the United States history. You can call it capitalism, you can call it whatever you want, but the truth is the people are tired. Burnout is at record highs. 72% of Americans are reporting some form of moderate to severe burnout. And Gen Z sits at the highest at 74%, the highest in American history. Ask the wrong person, they'll just say that Gen Z is lazy. But I think it's a lot deeper than that. I think Gen Z is starting to prioritize health over wealth, and material being and materialistic ideologies are starting to slowly be phased out. People are starting to realize our health and well-being is so much more important than anything else we can do. And we are inheriting a materialistic and an individualistic and such a out of touch society that we have a lot of work we're trying to do. And Gen Z is seeing this real time. This exhaustion is starting to seem less like a symptom and more like an intended feature of the system this exhaustion is widespread. Everybody is fed up. Everybody is tired. Everybody requires a break, yet nobody is getting any of that. Honestly, this is most visible in our healthcare sector in the United States. These people are overworked, underpaid, undervalued, stretched so thin, yet they still pull through and take care of our sick. Our healthcare system is so focused on profit over people and health and wellness that we can't even get universal healthcare without getting lobbied out. Healthcare in the United States has turned from a service proud to bring the best healthcare to our people for pennies on the dollar, yet still be able to pay our people so well because healthcare is not a commodity. It isn't a business. It is something that we require to prosper as the human race, and it shouldn't be commodified or set behind paywalls. It should be readily accessible to all human beings. Yet in the United States, it is a business, and the sick Americans are the product. Last year, 36% of adults skipped medical care simply due to cost. That jumps to 75% among the uninsured population. In the richest nation on, people die because they cannot afford to live. Let that sink in. Medical debt is the #1 cause of bankruptcy in America. We are leasing life now, and survival is slowly becoming a subscription and a service. Your survival should not depend on your wallet. Your health shouldn't depend on a subscription plan. This is not freedom. This is economic bondage. We must do better for our future. We must do better for the future generation. Healthcare should not be a commodity, but it should be a right that all human beings are entitled to through collective effort and work and the want to have a higher well-being for our community. And to be honest, if healthcare doesn't break us, education or the lack of education or the insane price of education is deterring a lot more people than it used to. Higher education used to be the pathway to mobility. Now it's a financial trap. We're told, get a degree to succeed, but millions graduate into debt before they even get to enjoy their adult lives. Student loan debt is $1.7 trillion in the United States. Again, this is no mistake. This is revenue for the 1%. We shouldn't spend decades in debt just to participate and add value to our own society. We have been failed not only by the systems, but by the leaders who allow this harm to come our way. Now I just want to quickly talk about the American dream, because this has been something that has been guiding this nation for some time now, and quite frankly, it's one of the biggest myths that's ever been widely accepted in the United States. The phrase, the American dream, was coined in 1931 by writer James Truslow Adams in his novel, The Epic of America. He imagined a society where everybody had equal opportunity. After publishing this book, his ideas quickly spread across the nation, inspiring millions and millions and generations of Americans. The only issue with Adams coining this phrase is Adams was wealthy, and he came from a wealthy family. He was educated at Yale and NYU. His father was a mayor. His dream, his perspective reflected privilege and not struggle. It reflected a unique perspective that Americans bought into, whether it was their perspective, whether it was their situation or not. And this is when I believe that this turned from a philosophy into a product, something you can sell people. Come to America, do the jobs, work, build a better life. And in turn, it was turned into a marketing campaign to get more labor. Coincidentally, right after slavery was deemed unacceptable. Then, when people were buying into the American dream, they were consuming more. In turn, buying more, spending more, owning more. Success in the United States slowly turned into material wealth. What do you own? What do you have? What shiny toys do you own? It became a competition. Your happiness was fed to people as you needed possessions to be happy. Completely eradicating the idea that spirituality needed to be a thing. As long as you had things and possessions and material wealth, why would you need to work on your character and who you are as a person? And the sickest part about all of this, debt was the price of the admission to this. Buy into the American dream. We'll give you all of the money you need, buy stuff from us, and pay it back with interest. The American dream was a scheme from the beginning, a marketing scheme. Generation after generation was sold this dream and believed this dream. People came from all over the world. Yes, their life here was better. It came at a cost. Work the rest of your life, go in debt the rest of your life, and funnel all of your money to the top. Every generation reaches their breaking point. And honestly, I think our generation is reaching ours. We can't keep living like crabs in a bucket, fighting each other for scraps, while the self-proclaimed elite dine on the entire feast. I say all of this to say it's time to forge a new American dream. Think of a new American dream, one rooted in community, health, and wellness, not in consumption. Self-dignity, self-worth, not just endless debt to fill the void. Well-being of the people, no longer exploiting, whether it's through labor or economic exploitation. A new dream built on universal healthcare, affordable housing, community wealth, environmental sustainability, education without lifelong debt, leadership that serves the people and not corporation. Change requires unity, collective action, and refusal to accept and perpetuate systems that cause more harm than good. We deserve a dream that includes us, all of us. It's time for America to finally prioritize its people. Unity over division, peace over war, growth over destruction. A new chapter is already being written, and that change begins with all of us. God bless.